Welcome students to the class of Pricing and Product Decisions. This is your faculty Dr. Shweta Srivastav, Associate Professor, School of Management, BBD University. Students, I hope all of you are doing good at your homes. So students, I am going to start Unit 2 of this paper. In the Unit 1, all of you have understood the various cost concepts, the various costing systems, how the cost behaves, and the relevancy of cost and revenue. Students, in the previous unit also, I have explained you the basic structure of this paper, and the name of this paper is Pricing and Product Decisions. But you have to understand that while deciding the product mix for an organization or while setting up the right price for a product or for a quotation, one has to look for the cost. The floor of pricing or the decision making criteria is nothing but the cost. So, throughout the paper, we are only studying cost, how the cost behaves, how the cost moves with the quantity, how the profits can be geared, right? So, this is all we are going to study in this paper. So, with this, I am going to start the second unit. In the previous unit, while discussing with you the various costing systems in the name of activity-based costing, absorption costing, and marginal costing, we have understood the concept of marginalism. Basically, principle of marginalism says that it is the additional or the incremental value which is relevant for your decision making process, not the total amount as in the case of absorption or activity based costing. So I am continuing with the same topic, that is marginal costing, or you can say in the principle of incrementalism, and this process is known as break-even analysis or cost volume profit analysis. So in this lecture, we are going to study the basic concepts related to CVP analysis, or to say break-even analysis, and in the forthcoming lectures, we'll understand how this concept is used in short-term managerial decision making. So students, let us move ahead. First of all, we have to understand the basic concepts related to cost, volume and profit analysis. Sorry. This study tries to find out the effect on future profit with the changes in fixed cost, variable cost, sales price, quantity and product mix, right? So in a way, what we are trying to find out how our future profit is controlled by the level of fixed cost, variable cost, sales price, quantity we are selling and quantity we are manufacturing, and the product mix, right? The term break-even analysis and CVP analysis is used synonymously or to say interchangeably. But we have to understand that generally till break-even point. See, break-even point is the point where the company has no profit, no loss. It means that all the costs are absorbed by the revenue, be it your variable cost and fixed cost. In the previous unit, I have already explained you that the cost can be divided into variable cost and fixed cost. Fixed costs are those costs which do not change with the level of activity. Why I am using the word activity? Because we are also taking into consideration the service industry. Since the percentage of service industry in GDP is increasing day by day, we have to incorporate the word activity, not the manufacturing, right? So in case of break-even analysis, we divide the cost into fixed cost that does not changes with the level of activity, and the variable cost that varies, as the name says, with the level of activity, right? So the entire cost is divided into two components. One is fixed cost and one is variable cost. So at break-even point, the company is able to recover all its cost in the name of fixed cost and variable cost, right? So till break-even point, it is known as break-even analysis. Once all the fixed costs are recovered at the point of break-even, what happens? We try to understand the relationship between cost, volume and profit. It means if how profit can be controlled by producing a certain volume and what will be the cost to it. So that is why till break-even point it is known as break-even analysis, and after that it is known as cost, volume and profit relationship analysis, right? So it follows that to break even, the amount of contribution must exactly match the amount of fixed cost, right? So as I have discussed with you in the previous lecture also, that sales is equal to fixed cost plus variable cost. So taking all the variable components at one side, we have sales minus variable cost is equal to fixed cost. So this is what we call as contribution. So contribution is nothing but the contribution of fixed cost in eating up your revenue. So if we know how much contribution is earned from each unit sold, then we can calculate the number of units required to break even as follows. Now let us understand further. Let's take one example. Suppose that an organization manufactures a single product, incurring variable cost of $30 per unit, fixed cost of $2,000 per month. If the product sells for $50 per unit, then the break-even point can be calculated as follows. Break-even point in units would be fixed cost divided by contribution per unit. See, we need to find out a unitless quantity. It means the numerator and denominator should have the same unit, right? That is in the name of rupees. So if we want to calculate break-even point in units, we need to divide fixed cost by contribution per unit. So it will be 2000 divided by 50 will be your selling price, 30 is a variable cost. So 20,000 divided by 20 will give you 1000 units per month. It means if the company wants to break even, it has to produce 1000 units per month. At the point of 1000 units, all the cost of the company will be recovered and the company will be at a situation of no profit and no loss, right? So if we want to calculate break-even point in value, we need to multiply with the selling price. So 1000 units multiplied by $50 will give you break-even point in the sales value. You can also find out the break-even point in value by dividing with the not only contribution but contribution percentage, that will be equal to S minus V, variable sales minus variable cost, divided by sales multiplied by 100, right? So when you divide by contribution percentage, you will get the break-even point in rupees or break-even point in value. But contribution can be per unit or total, that does not make any difference, right? So this is how we calculate the break-even point. Now comes the margin of safety. See students, margin of safety is basically the buffer, or you can say the cushion which is there between the break-even point and the expected level of sales. This margin of safety will give you up to what level your sales can be dropped so as to reach up to the point of break-even, right? So the margin of safety is the difference between the expected level of sales and the break-even point, right? The larger the margin of safety, the more likely it is that a profit will be made. That is, if sales start to fall, there is more leeway, more space before the organization begins to incur loss. It means the company, if the margin of safety is high, the company will have more cushion to absorb the reducing or sales, right? So this is what is called as margin of safety. So the formula for calculating MOS is projected sales minus break-even point. So I am continuing with the same example, students. In the above example, if the forecast sales are 1700 units per month, the margin of safety can be easily calculated. It is actual sales or expected sales minus break-even sales. So here the expected sales or the projected sales are 1700 units, and you can see that in the previous slide we have calculated break-even point in units was 1000 units. So the margin of safety will come out as 700 units per month. Generally, margin of safety is given in the name of percentage. So that will come out as 700 divided by 1700 multiplied by 100. So the formula would be a forecasted sales minus break-even sales divided by forecasted sales will give you the percentage of margin of safety. So this will come out as 41%. So 41% of the projected sales would be your margin of safety. Right? See, you have to understand that margin of safety will not be calculated as a percentage of break-even sales. It is calculated as a percentage of projected sales. So, 41% will be your margin of safety out of 100. So, rest of the amount, that is 59% will be your break-even percentage, right? So, this is how we move ahead with the margin of safety, right? Now we have to find out that the relationship between profit and margin of safety, right? So once we have attained the break even, right? Once we have attained the break even, all the fixed costs are now recovered, right? Generally, the contribution goes towards which two components? The fixed cost and profit. Once break-even point is reached, the fixed costs are now recovered. So after the break-even point, there are no more fixed costs which are to be recovered. So all of the contribution will go towards profits, and that is how profit grows. So at the point, margin of safety will give you at the point of margin of safety, the entire contribution will be given to the profits only. So now the profit will be 700 units, that is our margin of safety, and the contribution was 20. So the entire contribution will go to only profit because we have already recovered the fixed cost, right? So your profit will be 700 multiplied by 20, that will give you $14,000. So for $14,000 will be your profit. So that is how we can calculate profit with the help of margin of safety. Now, the contribution to sales ratio, that is CS ratio. See, we have to understand how this contribution to sales ratio is relevant to decision making. Higher contribution to sales ratio means that contribution grows more quickly as sales levels increase. See, you have to understand one thing. Higher contributions means that you have larger revenue to absorb the fixed cost, right? So it means you are having larger cushion to absorb the impact of fixed cost on your revenue. So the organizations which have higher contribution ratio, or the product ranges which have higher contribution ratios, or the product mix which ultimately give you higher contribution ratio will always be preferred, right? So higher contribution to sales ratio is always beneficial for a firm, right? This shows that contribution grow more quickly as sales level increase, right? Once the break-even point has been passed, profits will accumulate more quickly in case of higher contribution to sales ratio than for a product with lower contribution to sales ratio. That is why it is called PV ratio, profit volume ratio. How your profit moves up with the increasing levels of volume, right? That is why it is known as profit volume ratio or contribution to sales ratio. In a way, what we are trying to find out, how your profits can be controlled by maneuvering volume of production, right? Now, let us understand one numerical. See, let me explain you the numerical first. A company manufactures and sells a single product that has the following cost and selling price structure, right? Selling price is $120. Pound 120. Next comes your direct material. Direct material is 22 pounds per unit. Direct labor is 36 pound per unit. Variable overhead is 14 pound per unit. Fixed overhead is 12 pound per unit. Profit per, so that will give you a total cost of 84. So after deducting total cost from revenue, the profit per unit would be 36 per unit, right? Now, we have to understand one thing, that fixed overheads are always calculated on normal capacity, not on the used capacity, right? So we should not take the always take normal capacity while calculating the fixed overhead. So the fixed overhead absorption rate is based on the normal capacity of 2000 units per month, right? Assume that the same amount is spent each month on fixed overheads, right? Budgeted sales for next month are 2200 units. Now, what you are required to calculate? First of all, you are required to calculate the break-even point in sales units per month. It means you have to calculate break-even point in units. Then you have to calculate margin of safety. Then you have to calculate budgeted profit for the month. It means when you are producing 2200 units, then we are supposed to calculate the sales required to achieve a profit of pound 96,000, right? So let us students move ahead. Now, the contribution per unit would be taking into consideration all types of variable cost, right? So, all types of variable cost would be, first of all, your direct material, direct labor and variable overhead. So, these are all your variable cost. So, to arrive at contribution, we have to we need to have sum total of all these variable costs, and then we will be deducting it with the selling price. Now, so pound 120 is, from it we are deducting pound 22, 36 and 14, and we'll get the result as pound 48. So pound 48 will be your contribution. So through fixed cost and profit, contribution per unit would be 36 plus 12, again 48. So we are getting the same result. You can calculate contribution either way, either from the side of S minus V or F plus P. So fixed cost is 36 pound. Your profit is 36 pound and your fixed cost is pound 12 as it is given here, right? So we can calculate contribution this way also. Now, break-even point would be fixed cost divided by a contribution per unit. So, total, see students, you have to understand that we never take fixed cost per unit. Fixed cost is always taken as a total amount. So, what is the number of units in the normal capacity? We are producing 2000 units. The total fixed cost would be 12 into 2000 divided by 48. So, that will give you 500 units. So, this organization, this company needs 500 units to break even, right? Now, what will be your margin of safety? Margin of safety would be budgeted sales minus break-even sales, right? So, we have assumed that the projected sales for the next year is 2200 units. What is the break-even sale? 500 units. So, that will give you 1700 units as your margin of safety. So, in case of percentage of projected sale, it will be 77%. So, how will we calculate profit? As I told you earlier, that after break even, all the fixed costs are recovered. So, the entire profit will go to only the entire we can say contribution will go to only profit. So, the contribution is pound 48 and the margin of safety is 1700 units. At that point, all the units are, you can see all the entire fixed cost is recovered, right? So 1700 multiplied by 48 will give you pound 81600, and that will be your profit at a sales level of you can say with a margin of safety of 1700 units, right? Now, number of sales units required to earn a desired profit. Now, we need to calculate how many number of units should be produced to earn a desired profit of pound 96,000, right? So the formula would be fixed cost plus desired profit divided by contribution per unit, right? So it will be 12 into 2000, that will be your total fixed cost, plus 96,000 is your desired profit divided by contribution per unit, that is 48, right? So you will be getting the answer as 2500 units. So students, you have to understand that if you want to attain a profit of pound 96,000, the organization needs to produce 2500 units. See, this is how you can use the concept of CVP analysis in deciding your volume, in deciding your cost structure, because now you know that 2500 units of volume is required to attain your desired profit. So this is how you can gear up your production systems, right? Let us move ahead with one more example. A Limited has a fixed cost of $60,000 per annum. It manufactures a single product that it sells for $20 per unit. The selling price would be $20 per unit. Its contribution to sales ratio is 40%, right? A Limited's BP in units would be, BP will be equal to fixed cost divided by contribution. So what is fixed cost? The fixed cost is given as $60,000. What will be your contribution? Contribution is 40%. I told you that when you have to find out break-even point in rupees, you need to divide it by contribution percentage. So the BP in rupees would be $1,50,000. Now, your question has asked you to find out break-even point in units. To find out break-even point in units, we need to divide it by selling price. So that will give you break-even point in units. So you will be getting 7,500 units as your break-even point. This can also be calculated this way. Or contribution percentage is 40% of what? 40% of sales price, right? So sales price is 20 per unit. See, contribution is nothing but variable, you can say percentage of variable to selling price, variable cost to selling price, right? So 20 multiplied by 40% is what? That will be your contribution, $8. So break-even point would be what? Fixed cost divided by your, since you have found out the contribution, your the break-even point can be calculated as 1,50,000 divided by 8. So that is gives you the same answer, 7,500, right? So students, you can find out the break-even point through both the ways by using directly contribution or by calculating the break-even point first first as value and then by dividing it by selling price, you will again get the same answer, that is 7,500 units. So students, I hope it is clear how to move about, you can say with the concept of CVP analysis. You need to remember 2-3 formula, that is contribution, contribution percentage and margin of safety, right? So these few formula will give you you can say will guide you in doing you the numericals related to CVP analysis. Let us understand with one more example. So there is one company B Limited which manufactures a single product that it sells at pound 9 per unit, right? See students, you will be surprised that why I am using the foreign currency. See, you have to understand with the application of IFRS into systems, that is International Financial Reporting Standards, generally we calculate, you can say GDP in US dollars, right? Because it is the widely used currency. The same goes with pound. So that is why we are using I'm using these foreign currencies, because we are generally applying IFRS now in our accounting systems. So you should be comfortable enough to deal with these types of foreign currencies. So that is why I'm not using Indian rupee in my general numericals. So let us move ahead. B Limited manufactures a single product that it sells for pound 9 per unit. Fixed costs are pound 54,000 per month and the product has a variable cost of pound 6 per unit, right? In a period when actual sales were pound 1 lakh, sorry, I think it is somewhere it is wrong. Yes, it is 1,80,000. B Limited's margin of safety in units was. See, now you have to calculate margin of safety. So for calculating margin of safety, first we have to calculate the break-even points, right? So break-even point in sales would be 54,000 will be your fixed cost. What will be your contribution? Contribution will be S minus V. S minus V will be 9 minus 6. So 54,000 divided by 9 minus 6 will give you 18,000. So 18,000 will be your break-even sales in units. Now, it is given that actual sales were pound 1,80,000. Now you have to find out actual sales in units because in the question you are asked to calculate margin of safety in units, not in value. So a margin, this actual sales are now be required to be converted into units. So actual sales is 1,80,000 and per unit selling price is pound 9. So you will get 20,000 units as your actual, you can say actual sales. So as the formula goes for margin of safety is equal to actual sales minus break even point sales. So that will be 20,000 minus 18,000 and that will give you 2,000 units as your margin of safety. So students, I hope with these many numericals you will be comfortable in calculating margin of safety, break-even point in rupees, break-even point in units and the units required to be produced for a certain level of profit, right? So, but as the name says, everything has its limitations. So now let us understand what are the limitations associated with CVP analysis. So, limitations of break-even point. See, costs are assumed to behave in linear fashion. See, practically it is not possible because generally costs do not take a fixed pattern, right? There are steps of fixed cost like the bill of electricity, like the bill of telephone. So up to a certain level you will have the same, the same level of cost. If I go by rent, so up to 1 year the rent will be fixed, but what will happen after 1 year? There will be revision of rent charges, so again the fixed cost will change. So although we are not changing the level of activity, but yet the fixed cost is changing. Now coming to labor cost. Labor cost is supposed to be a variable cost. Now what will happen if union intervenes, right? Now your union will ask a fixed pay. It means that the union will ask for more of fixed component percentage and less of a variable cost percentage. So so we have to understand that the cost do not generally move in a linear fashion, right? So that is the first limitation. The second limitation is sales revenue are assumed to be constant for each unit sold. See, this is practically not possible because we have already studying activity based costing and we are understanding how you are supposed to change your sales price according to your customer. Sometimes we have our high network income customers. Sometimes we have our brand loyal customers. For that, we need to give them proper discounts. We need to incur certain extra costs in the name of customer service. So sometimes you have to change the sales price. So it is again, you can say a false assumption that sales revenue are assumed to be constant. Now it is assumed that there is no change in the inventory. See, you cannot predict the demand accurately. So inventories are bound to be changed with the passage of time. The next is it is assumed that activity is the only factor which can affect your cost. So we are taking only consideration fixed cost and variable cost. So their behavior we are watching or we are you can say calculating only when the activity level is changing. But you have to understand that it is not only the activity level which can impact your cost. There are so many other things like inflation also, right? So activity is not the one level which can change your cost structure. Moreover, it assumed that the company goes with the same product mix, right? Once you have calculated the optimum product mix, the company will move on with the same product mix. But it rarely happens because of fast moving technology, the products are getting obsolete at a very fast pace. The newer substitutes are coming every second day. So you cannot continue with the same product mix. You need to change, you need to accept the market requirement. So that is why this break-even analysis, or you can say the CVP analysis, is generally applicable on short-term decision making, because in case of short-term decision making, the things generally don't change so frequently. So students, in the forthcoming lectures will understand how this break-even analysis, or to say CVP analysis, is used in short-term decision making processes like product mix, like buy or outsource, like shutdown or continue. These all things are will understand with the help of CVP analysis. So students, this is all for you, the concept of break-even point with the help of graph. See students, why it is essential to understand the graphical representations of break-even point, because while looking at the graph you are not supposed to understand the basic calculation. Only a bird's eye view, or only you can, by viewing the graph you can understand how the break-even point is moving, what is the level of variable cost, what is the level of fixed cost, and how the profit is changing with the level of output. So with these many graphs we are going to understand the concept of break-even point, right? So let us students move ahead. Now, how to draw the break-even chart? So now by this time you are clear what is break-even point. See, break-even point is the situation where the costs are equal to revenue. When I say cost, it means fixed cost and variable cost. I am again saying fixed costs are those costs which do not change with the level of activity, but variable costs are those costs which change with the level of activity, right? So once again, students, you are not supposed to use the word with the level of manufacturing. Rather, it should be the level of activity, because we are also considering service industry. So let us understand how we plot the break-even chart on a graph. See, first of all, you have to understand on which axis you are going to take the variable quantities, and like cost and revenues. So we are taking cost and revenues on the vertical axis and the level of activity on the horizontal axis. Lines are drawn on the chart to represent cost and sales revenue. The break-even point can be read off where the sales revenue line cuts the total cost line. It means it is at the intersection point where the cost will be equal to the sales, right? So that is the break-even point, and you can easily calculate by dropping a vertical line to the level of activity, which means the horizontal axis, to find out the number of units to break even, right? So we will use this following example to demonstrate how to draw a break-even chart. The data would be selling price is again £50 per unit, variable cost is £30 per unit, fixed cost £20,000 per month. See students, you have to understand that fixed cost do not change with the level of activity. It means even if we are producing zero quantity, this fixed cost bound to exist. Moreover, fixed costs are period cost. I have already discussed with you in unit 1 about the period cost and the volume cost. So period costs are those costs which are generally calculated on time basis, like per year, per month. So fixed cost is £20,000 per month. Forecasted sales is 1700 units per month. So with this data, let us understand how to draw a break-even chart. Now, you have to follow certain steps. Step 1, we have to select the appropriate scale for the axis and draw and label them. The furthest point on the vertical axis will be the monthly sales revenue, that is 1700 multiplied by 50. See students, I have missed the multiplication sign and the is equal to sign. But you have to understand that we have to calculate the monthly sales revenue. Since the number of units produced are 1700 units and the per unit price is pound 50, that will give you the total revenue of pound 85,000. So the furthest point on the horizontal axis will be the monthly sales volume, that is 1700 units, and on the vertical axis the furthest point means the last point should be your total revenue, right? So in step 2 we have to draw the fixed cost line and label it. See, fixed cost line will be a straight line parallel to the horizontal axis at pound 20,000 level. See, since it is not going to change with the level of activity, it will be same throughout the production units. So, it will be a straight line parallel to the horizontal axis. Now, what is left? We have to draw the total cost line. The best way to do is to calculate the total cost for the maximum sales level, which is 1700 units in our example, right? Mark this point on the graph and join it to the cost incurred at zero activity, that is pound 20,000. See students, why I am not starting the total cost line from origin, because at the cost zero level even we have the fixed cost which is pound 20,000, right? So when fixed cost, total cost is fixed cost plus variable cost. So variable cost will be zero at zero level activity, but fixed cost will be there. So that is why the total cost line will not originate from zero, rather it will start from the fixed cost point, right? Now step 4. Draw the revenue line and label it. Once again, the best way is to plot the extreme points and we have to join it with the origin, right? So the maximum revenue will be same, like 1700 units multiplied by pound 50, that will give you pound 85,000, right? So this point will be joined to the origin, because at the zero activity, zero sales, you will have no sales revenue. So that is why it will start from zero or origin. Now, what will be the step 5? Mark any other required information on the chart and read off solutions as required, right? Now, we are supposed to calculate the questions which are required to be solved in your given example. Step 6. See students, this is very important to understand that although we are calculating the break-even point graphically, but you have to calculate the accuracy of your readings using arithmetic calculations. It means once you calculate the break-even point in units or in sales while using the graphs, you are also supposed to calculate it using the formula, that is break-even point is equal to fixed cost divided by contribution, right? So this is the basic break-even chart. So students, see, you have seen that the maximum production is 1700 units, right? So on the horizontal axis, you can easily see that I have plotted number of units, right? On the vertical axis, I have plotted the scale would be pound 1000, right? So you have seen that the maximum revenue is pound 85,000, right? So the revenue line will be straight line from origin and it will go to maximum sales revenue, that is pound 85,000, right? The total cost line, as you can see, is starting from 20,000 pound, right? And we are calculating the maximum cost of production, right? So that will be again, I am moving to the question. Let us see. See what the question says. See, in the question, it is given that variable cost is pound 30 per unit. So, how many units we are producing? 17,000 units, right? So, will be multiplying 17,000 multiplied by 30, and that is how we are going to calculate the total cost. So pound 30 multiplied by 1700 plus 20,000, that will give you the figure of total cost, right? So that is how I have plotted the total cost figure, right? So this is how we can calculate. So the point of intersection between the sales revenue line and the total cost line will give you what? Will give you the break-even point, and that will come out as 1000 units, right? So what will be the margin of safety? We have the expected sales is 1700 and the margin and the break-even sales is 1000 units and pound 50,000. Pound 50,000 would be break-even point in rupees in value, and 1000 units will be the break-even point in units, right? So what will be the margin of safety? That will be 1700 minus 1000. That will give you 700 units, right? Now the component of variable cost. We have seen that up to pound 20,000 the amount will go to fixed cost, right? So beyond 20,000 whatever we have will be your variable cost. So this is how we can calculate our variable cost, right? So variable cost will come out as pound 20,000 minus 70,000 pound. So that will give you 50,000 pound, right? So that is how we can calculate it graphically, right? So after till break-even point, we are seeing that the total cost line is above the sales revenue line. So that will give you loss. But once you cross the break-even point, the sales revenue line is above the total cost line. So that will give you the profit, right? So students, this is how you can understand the basic concepts of break-even chart through a graph. Now, contribution, the next chart which you are supposed to study is contribution break-even chart, right? One of the problems with the conventional or basic break-even chart is that it is not possible to read contribution directly from the chart, right? We are only calculating, as you can see, we are calculating margin of safety from the basic break-even chart. We can calculate variable cost, we can calculate fixed cost, we can calculate break-even point in units, we can calculate break-even point in value, we can calculate margin of safety. But students, for a managerial decision making, we have to calculate contribution, because it is the contribution to sales ratio which can give you the decision making criteria, right? So contribution break-even chart is another chart which can facilitate your speedy decision making. A contribution break-even chart is based on the same principles, but it shows the variable cost line instead of the fixed cost line, right? Because contribution takes into consideration sales minus variable cost divided by sales, or simply sales minus variable cost. So instead, here the focus is on variable cost. So instead of plotting fixed cost, the variable cost line is plotted. So we are continuing with the same basic example. The total variable cost for an output of 1700 units will come out as pound 51,000. This point can be joined to the origin since the variable cost is nil at zero activity. It will, as the name says, the variable cost varies with the level of activity. So at zero level activity, we will not have any variable cost, right? So this point can be joined to the origin since the variable cost is nil. The contribution can be read as the difference between the sales revenue line and the variable cost line. So let us understand, see how it goes, right? You can see that we have plotted the same graph but with different quantities. So in the previous graph, as you can see, we have plotted the fixed cost line at the pound 20,000, right? But in the contribution break-even chart, we have plotted variable cost line in place of fixed cost line. So you can find out the same process we are applying. So again, your break-even point will be 1000 units, and your you can say the break-even pound value will be 50,000 pound. And see the difference between this total cost and variable cost will give you the percentage of fixed cost. As in the previous example, the difference between total cost and fixed cost was giving you variable cost. In the same way, the difference between total cost and variable cost will give you the percentage of fixed cost, right? And the total of fixed cost and profit will give you contribution. See, this is how we can calculate contribution from the graphs. That will be equal to fixed cost plus profit, right? So this is how we can prepare the contribution break-even chart. Now let us move ahead to the next chart. That is the profit volume chart. See, this chart plots a single line depicting the profit or loss at each level of activity. See students, as I told you earlier also, by using CVP analysis, we not only try to find out the behavior of variable cost and fixed cost. We also try to find out how the profit can be, you can say, maneuvered, can be controlled with the level of output, right? I think students, you remember that we have used the formula how to find out the volume level for attaining a desired profit, right? So the formula was fixed cost plus desired profit divided by contribution. See, this we have calculated with the help of a formula. So same thing we are doing to we are going to calculate with the help of a profit volume chart. So this chart plots a single line depicting the profit or loss at each level of activity, right? So we are trying to find out how volume is related with profit. The break-even point is where this line cuts the horizontal axis. It means the profit will be zero at this volume. Because you know that at break-even point there will be no profit and no loss. The vertical axis shows profits and losses, and the horizontal axis is drawn at zero profit or loss, right? So vertical axis again will give you the level of profits and losses. So at the above origin you will have profits and below origin you will have losses, because you know that when we plot a vertical axis, the positive figure will go upwards and the negative figures will go downwards, right? So the vertical axis shows profits and losses and the horizontal axis is drawn at zero profit or loss. That is why at this point you will have the number of units which are going which you should have to break even. At zero activity, the loss is equal to pound 20,000. That is the amount of fixed cost, right? Because you know that that at even zero level activity you have the fixed cost, right? The second point used to draw the line could be the calculated break-even point or the calculated profit for sales of 1700 units, right? Now, this is how it will go. You can see, as I've told you, at above zero it will be profit, below zero you will have loss. So at break-even point you can see that there is no profit and no loss, and as you have seen in the previous questions also, the break-even point came out as 1000 units, right? So 1000 at 1000 units you can see that the profit level is 0. Now we are moving ahead, right? So you can see that at zero level activity, what will be your loss? Your loss will be of 20,000 pound. 20,000 pound means your fixed cost only. So as you go on producing number of units, what is happening? You are reducing your losses, or to say the fixed cost is started recovering. So till 1000 units, all of your fixed cost will be recovered. After that, you are going to attain profits, right? So up to the budgeted sales like 1700 units, you will attain a profit in between pound 10,000 and 15,000, right? So students, you can easily see that what will be the level of profit and what will be the level of loss with the volume. So these are the few charts which can give you a bird's eye view of your activity levels, the behavior of cost, the quantum of cost which is impacting your decision, and you can easily find out the relationship between cost, volume and profit. So we can find out this relationship by two ways, one with the help of arithmetic calculations and another with the help of profit wall or the break even charts. So students, we have studied three types of charts. One is the basic break even, next is the contribution sales chart, another is the profit volume chart. So these three charts will help you in taking a speedy decision, because you can have with a glance, even with just a glance you can arrive at a adequate decision. So students, you have to understand that we are following the same concept, but we are only depicting it in a graph, which is easier to understand for a manager. Since a manager is always short of time, so this will facilitate speedy decision making. So students, that is all for today. We'll meet in the next lecture and we'll continue with the short term decision making processes. Students, thank you.